You gave this person everything. You noticed their mood shifts instantly, remembered their favorite things, and actually showed up when life got hard. But a quiet doubt kept lingering in the back of your mind about whether they loved you equally. You probably pushed that thought away because they said the right words, and breaking up seemed dramatic when nothing was technically broken. Yet, you're watching this video because that doubt never left. You probably spent months analyzing old texts and convincing yourself you were just overthinking. Constantly auditing your own relationship is exhausting. You start feeling crazy for simply wanting basic reassurance. But that confusion didn't come from nowhere. Your nervous system simply recognized a massive gap between their words and their actual capacity to love you. Recall the last time you had a genuinely terrible day. When you told them about it, did their expression change at all? Did they share your stress? Or did you quietly feel like an inconvenience to their evening? If you vanished for a week without a single text, would they frantically reach out by day 2, or would they quietly be fine? Your gut reaction to that scenario is actual data. Real love breeds a specific emotional need for a partner. Without it, a relationship can still function on paper with weekend plans and casual I love yous, but the foundation feels hollow. People can care deeply without actually being in love. You need to figure out if what they felt was true love or just a comfortable substitute occupying the same space. We are going to walk through 5 psychological signs that reveal the difference. The first sign is a complete lack of curiosity about your inner world. Someone checking your schedule is completely different from someone exploring your personality. Psychologist Arthur Aron from Stony Brook University proved this in his 1990s intimacy experiments. His famous 36 questions study demonstrated that sustained, escalating curiosity about someone's fears and core beliefs is the primary engine of human closeness. Neurologically, love forces your brain to pay heightened attention to a specific individual. You find their contradictions fascinating and genuinely want to know what keeps them awake at night. A partner knowing your daily routine but entirely ignoring your deepest doubts is a massive red flag. If your inner life bored them, you were experiencing proximity, not love. Genuine love looks a lot more like fascination. The next behavior is even harder to spot when you are in the thick of the romance. The third point on this list usually hits the hardest, forcing you to confront exactly how you felt during the relationship rather than after the breakup. Sign number 2, your pain did not cost them anything. Dr. James Coan at the University of Virginia scans couples' brains while threatening one partner with a mild electric shock. Holding a loved one's hand dramatically drops the brain's stress response, proving we literally wire our partners into our biological threat management systems to feel safer. Furthermore, watching your partner receive that shock lights up your own brain's pain regions. Coan calls this co-regulation. The emotional state of a loved one automatically travels through your own nervous system. This brings up a harsh reality check. If your partner could deeply upset you and then eat dinner or fall asleep completely unbothered, science describes that as a definitive emotional absence. We aren't talking about them being distracted. We are talking about them being genuinely fine while you were actively hurting. Trying to explain your hurt feelings to someone who just stares blankly, waiting for you to finish, is incredibly isolating. It feels like hitting a brick wall. The worst part is when the silence gets so heavy that you end up apologizing to them just to break the tension. A nervous system blind to your distress simply lacks the wiring required for love, proving a lack of connection rather than just an introverted personality. The next sign operates quietly in the background of everyday life, usually only becoming clear in hindsight. The third sign is that you actually felt lonelier with them than you did without them. University of Chicago researcher John Cacioppo spent decades proving that the most physically damaging form of loneliness is actually feeling unseen while sitting right next to your partner. Perceived isolation inside a romance spikes chronic stress higher than sitting alone in a room. Your brain can easily explain physical solitude, but it cannot process feeling entirely invisible while sharing a life with someone. Lying awake in bed next to them, feeling an absolute ocean of distance between you, is a very specific type of heavy. You might have even cried silently in the dark, wondering if they would finally notice. That isolation makes you miss the days when you were single. Back then, your empty space belonged entirely to you. Now, it's occupied by someone who isn't really there. Compare your default emotional state during ordinary, conflict-free days with this person to how you felt weeks before you ever met them. Healthy relationships act as a buffer, making the world feel easier to navigate and actively reducing your baseline loneliness. Regularly feeling more unheard and isolated with them than you did as a single person is a massive indicator of their true feelings. Romance obviously never guarantees endless happiness, but consistent emotional silence from your partner tells you exactly where you stand. This ties directly into their daily actions, or rather, their total lack of action. Sign number 4. Nothing about them changed because of you. Relationship researchers document a phenomenon called partner-directed transformation. People in love naturally modify their habits because their partner's well-being organically becomes part of their own internal motivation. They start caring about your interests, tread carefully around your triggers, and subtly adjust their routines to make your life easier without needing a dramatic conversation. These quiet behavioral shifts prove you actually impact how they navigate the world. Look past their empty promises and temporary apologies to see what permanently changed in their behavior because you entered their life. If the dynamic demanded everything from you while leaving them completely unchanged, they were never fully invested. Love actively transforms people. The final realization usually hits post-breakup when you look at how you fit into their broader social circle. And the 5th sign, they never made you feel known. Biological anthropologist Helen Fisher spent 40 years studying romance, discovering that true love creates an intense drive to memorize a partner's quirks and contradictions. She calls this a special meaning quality, where you matter to them in a completely irreplaceable way. Evaluate how their friends and family viewed you. Did their inner circle know about your sense of humor and specific fears? Or were you introduced as a generic function, like the person I'm seeing without any real personality attached? People deeply in love constantly share specific stories about your unique traits with the rest of the world. Feeling physically present in their life while remaining a complete stranger to their mind is an incredibly accurate sensation. Grieving this specific brand of isolation takes the longest, simply because the relationship looked so functional from the outside. We are not labeling this person as a villain. Many partners mean well, but simply lack the capacity to fall truly in love. You have to separate true love from comfortable substitutes like attachment and basic care. Basic care is nice, but it completely lacks a nervous system wired into yours, and a presence that actively cures your loneliness. You probably clicked on this video because recent events triggered these exact doubts. Recognizing these missing elements in a partner does not invalidate your own authentic feelings. You can fully love someone who never returns the favor. Sitting with this realization is incredibly heavy. Whether you are currently trying to navigate this dynamic or looking back at it in hindsight, acknowledging that emotional gap hurts. Your love was genuine, and a working heart is going to feel the weight of that imbalance. Nobody can tell you what to do with this information. The only purpose here is clarity. Honestly, naming what you are experiencing finally stops the cycle of feeling crazy, allowing you to understand what you actually need. Figuring out what healthy co-regulation actually looks like is a massive topic we explore across this entire channel. We will continue breaking down this exact dynamic from different psychological angles in our upcoming videos. Finding answers to these quiet relationship problems is what we do here, so you are in the right place. Subscribe if this psychology breakdown clarified things for you. We explore relationship science every week. If you spent months agonizing over these quiet red flags, you finally have the vocabulary to explain them.